A lot of people ask me the secret to earning huge amounts of money, and I tell them the truth, but nobody wants to believe it. They want a hot tip or a moonshot, but real wealth is actually incredibly boring. If you have ever felt overwhelmed by investing, this is the video that will change everything for you. I am going to make this stupidly simple by showing you how to start, where to invest, what to avoid, and how to build a portfolio that actually compounds. I am not going to use a ton of financial jargon because that is just for people who want to look smart while they take your money. This is a perfect beginner roadmap to get you started, especially in this upcoming year of 2026. Before we jump into the video, comment down below what is the biggest thing you are struggling with right now financially. I am really curious to see what people say because I want to help you fix it. I have organized this video into two halves. The first half is the mindset of investing and why you need to start right now. The second half will talk about the portfolio setup automation and the roadmap to becoming wealthy. Two things I want to say before we jump into the psychology part. First, I am not a financial advisor. These are all just my opinions and things I have learned throughout the years from my own research. Second, I am just a guy who loves simple systems and hates seeing people get ripped off by the system. Let us jump into the video now. Before we talk about what to invest in, we need to talk about how to think, because investing is 80% mindset and 20% discipline. Wealth is built slowly, and then it happens all at once. Most people quit in the slow phase because they get impatient or emotional. Consistency beats intelligence every single time. You do not have to be a genius to be a really good investor. You just have to be consistent. Time in the market beats timing the market. We are not sitting here trying to buy things on Monday and sell them on Friday like some kind of gambler. Boring beats complicated. Try to make investing as simple as possible in your life because it does not need to be complex to be effective. Smart investing is not about picking winners. It is about avoiding the behaviors that make most people lose. I try to have a win-win mindset when I invest. When you invest, only two things can happen. Either your investment goes up in value or it goes down. If I invest $1,000 and it goes up, then great, my money is already working. But if my investment goes down, I still want to buy because I am getting a great asset on a discount. The same way you get excited about buying a car or new shoes on a 30% discount is the same way you should feel about stocks. If you can develop this win-win mindset, it will make your life so stress-free because you are always winning. I genuinely do not stress when the market goes down 20% because I just keep doing what I am doing. Now, why do you even need to be investing in the first place? If you are an average person, you have to be investing to get ahead, because prices are rising and pay is not keeping up. The cost of living is squeezing every generation, especially Gen Z. Your income alone is not enough to survive anymore. Investing will turn your money into a worker that never sleeps and never calls in sick. Even if you only invest $300 a month at an 8% return, it becomes a massive fortune over 20 years. The best time to start was yesterday, and the next best time is right now. Even if it is just $25 a week, that small amount will go a long way. The world is too expensive not to be investing. Now let us talk about where you invest, because the account matters a lot more than you think. First, you should look into a tax-advantaged account like a Roth IRA. You put in money that has already been taxed, and it grows tax-free forever. When you turn 60 years old, you can withdraw that money and nobody can touch it because you already paid your dues. The contribution limit for a Roth IRA in 2026 is $7,500. That is about $625 a month to max it out. The next account is a 401k or an employer plan. Use this if your company offers a match because that is literally free money. If your employer matches half of your contribution, they are basically giving you a 50% return on your money instantly. You would be crazy to leave that free money on the table. The contribution limit for a 401k in 2026 is $24,500. Then there is the HSA or health savings account, which is like a secret weapon. It has a triple tax advantage, which makes it one of the best wealth-building tools in existence. Finally, you have a normal taxable brokerage account, which has no limits. It is best for investing money once you have already maxed out your other retirement accounts. The order I recommend is getting the employer match first, then maxing the Roth IRA, and then going back to the 401k or brokerage. Now, what should you actually buy? You do not need to be picking individual stocks or buying some crypto meme coins. You need simplicity. One simple option is the S&P 500, which holds the 500 largest companies in the United States. You can also use a total U.S. stock market fund, which holds every company large and small. If you start with these simple index funds, you are already ahead of 80% of people who are trying to be fancy. I personally use a portfolio that is 70% S&P 500, 20% dividend stocks, and 10% growth stocks. Whatever you do, avoid the get-rich-quick stocks that everyone is talking about on social media. Quit trying to buy the hype because you do not know where those companies will be in 5 years. I also suggest you avoid day trading because it is a loser's game. Almost 99% of day traders underperform the market long-term. Most of the people you see online who claim to be day traders are actually just making money by selling you a course. It is just gambling with extra steps. The same goes for options and penny stocks because those are just different ways to blow up your account. Your job as a beginner is very simple, and that is to not lose all of your money. To set this up, you need to choose a brokerage like Fidelity or Vanguard. Make sure you can buy fractional shares so you do not have to save up hundreds of dollars just to buy one share. Link your bank account and start small to make sure the system works. Once you start, you should find a way to automate your contributions. This is the ultimate cheat code because the money leaves your bank and gets invested before you can spend it on something stupid. This is called dollar cost averaging, which means you buy consistently whether the market is up or down. This removes the emotional side of investing, which is the biggest enemy of your wealth. A lot of beginners lose money because they panic and sell when the market dips. The stock market rewards the calm and penalizes the impatient. In the short run, the market is a voting machine, but in the long run, it is a weighing machine. Understanding the psychology of money is more important than understanding the math. Here is your 10-year roadmap to wealth. In the first 2 years, focus on just building the habit of investing, even if it is a small amount. Build up a 3 to 6 month emergency fund so you never have to sell your stocks when life gets messy. Learn basic financial literacy so that money is no longer something that intimidates you. Every unnecessary purchase you make today is like firing a worker that could have made you rich. Think about the life you want to have 10 years from now and make decisions that support that person. Wealth is not about what you buy, it is about the freedom to do what you want with your time. Don't be the person who works 40 years just to pay off a car that they didn't even like. Be the person who owns their time and their life. Now let us talk about the specific numbers and the power of starting early. If you are 25 years old and you start with just $100, and you add $500 every single month until you are 65, at an average market return of 10%, you will end up with over $3 million. If you wait until you are 35 to start, that same amount only turns into $1 million. That 10-year delay literally cost you $2 million in your pocket. That is the price of hesitation, and it is a price that most people pay without even realizing it. You are not just spending $50 on a fancy dinner, you are spending thousands of future dollars. Every dollar is a little green soldier that is supposed to go out and capture more dollars for you. When you spend it on junk, you are basically sending your soldiers to their death. I want you to imagine your future self sitting on a beach at age 50. That person is either thanking you for being boring today, or they are cursing you for being flashy and broke. The stock market is a giant machine that transfers money from the impatient to the patient. If you can just sit on your hands and do nothing, you will win. The hardest part is not the math, because the math is easy. The hardest part is looking at your friends who are buying new trucks and going on vacations they cannot afford. You have to be okay with looking poor now so that you can actually be rich later. Most people spend their whole lives trying to look like they have money while having none in the bank. I would rather have $1 million in a boring index fund than a fancy car in the driveway of a house I do not own. We are living in an era where everyone wants everything right now, but the laws of math have not changed and they never will. Compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world for a reason. It starts out slow and almost invisible, like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, the snowball is small and you might think it is not worth the effort, but by the time it reaches the bottom, it is an avalanche that nobody can stop. That is how your wealth works if you just leave it alone. Stop checking your portfolio every single day because that just leads to emotional mistakes. Check it once a quarter or even once a year, and just keep your automatic transfers running. The best investors are often dead people because they never touch their accounts and they never sell in a panic. Since you are alive, you have to pretend to be as disciplined as a dead person. It sounds funny, but it is the literal truth of how to build a fortune. If you have a lot of debt, you should focus on paying that off first if the interest rate is high. Anything over 7 or 8% is an emergency, and you should kill it before you invest. But if your debt is low interest, like a student loan or a mortgage, then you should prioritize the market. Every decision you make is a trade-off between current comfort and future freedom. I choose freedom every single time, and I hope you do too. The year 2026 is going to be a wild year for the economy, but it does not matter. Whether the market goes up or down, we are going to keep buying. We are going to buy when it is expensive, and we are going to buy when it is cheap. That is how you win the game without having to be a genius or a psychic. You just have to be the person who does not quit. I want you to take one action today after you finish this video. Either open that Roth IRA or increase your contribution by just 1%. Small changes lead to massive outcomes over a long enough time frame. Do not listen to the people who tell you that the system is rigged and you cannot win. The system is definitely rigged, but it is rigged in favor of the people who own assets. So stop being a consumer and start being an owner. Own the companies that everyone else is buying from. Own the technology that everyone else is addicted to. That is the only way to escape the rat race and live life on your own terms. I have seen people change their entire family tree just by following these simple rules. It does not take a lot of money to start, but it takes a lot of heart to stay. Stay boring, stay patient. Peace.